Hello, hi, this is Sam. Welcome to Science Institute of Education. Today, I'm going to do vocabulary regarding health, right? I have got some emails regarding, vocabulary related health, education, travel, tourism, and the kind of some IELTS basic general questions, like which you have been asked in introduction or even in cue cards. So I thought of making some videos, some short videos regarding vocabulary, which you can practice. And I'll be doing some words along with some idioms. And from there, we'll see like what kind of speaking we can do in order to increase our band score. Okay, so let's begin. Now, the topic that we are covering today is health. I'll be making each video of health, travel, tourism, entertainment, and all. Okay, so let's talk about health. Now, the first word that I'm going to do is addictive. Addictive. Addictive means a person who is obsessed with something. Like you can say he's quite addictive to smoking cigarettes, right? He's quite addictive to, let's say, reading books, right? So a person who's obsessed with something, right? Like a person who's obsessed with drinks, right? Since we're talking about health, so drinks, smoking, and all. Okay, a person who's obsessed with drinks, smoking, something and all. This is the person. You can also use addict. Now let's make an example how. My friend used to be, let's make my friend used to be an addict. Right? My friend used to be an addict. But thankfully, he is healthy now. Right, so my friend used to be an addict, but thankfully he is an addict now. Sorry, thankfully he is an addict, healthy now. In spite of healthy, you can also use hale and hearty. Now I'm just on purpose, I'm writing in, right? So when you sound, it should sound like hale and hearty, not hale and hearty. It's basically A and D, right? So we just sound as hale and hearty, right? Hale and hearty, which means he's healthy. Okay, my friend used to be an addict, but thankfully he is healthy now. In terms of addicted, let's make thanks to the rehab that my friend is finally out from being an addictive of smoking. Right. Thanks to the rehab that my friend is finally out from being an addictive of smoking. So your friend basically was excessively smoking cigarettes. Right? Now he's out of it. So he's not smoking anymore. Okay. I hope this one's clear. So that was addict or addictive. Now let's do number second. A runny nose. A runny nose, when you're sick, right? And you know how you have a runny nose, you just keep the all the time, right? Sometimes you use inhalers to control that. and normally happens when there is a weather change, right, from summers to winters. Normally people do encounter these kind of things, right? So a runny nose, it's basically don't even let you, just concentrate on your work. Okay, it's just got irritating. So a runny nose. Now, when liquid comes out from your nose, right? When liquid comes out from your nose, so that's known as a runny nose. Okay, now let's make an example. Few days ago, I caught cold. So now I have a runny nose. Right? Few days ago, I caught cold. So now I have a runny nose. Okay. So when you get cold and you're recovering, sometimes your nose even, you have a runny nose and you have a blocked nose. Blocked nose is when obviously, like you have the kind of feeling that your nose is blocked and it's difficult for you to breathe. Okay. So that's where you use blocked nose and a runny nose. Okay. Now, few days ago, I caught cold, so now I have a runny nose. Okay, I really feel irritated, right? I really feel irritated whenever I have, a runny nose because it won't let me allow. It won't allow me to concentrate on my studies or anything. You can say. Fine. Now, number three, chronic disease. Chronic disease. A type of a disease that occur from a long time, right? Type of a disease that occur for a long time, from long time, right? Now, for example, chronic disease. Now, like some kind of disease which you have from a long time, right? Let's say some people have diabetes, right? So diabetes now, when you are in obviously 20, 25 years, 30 years, so that is a chronic disease, right? Some people have a problem of even asthma, they're asthmatic, right? So that is also a chronic disease. So that's why they totally depend on inhaler. Okay. So let's make a sentence example. My friend John, right? It's not John, it's John, right? My friend John needs to use an inhaler every day since he has a chronic asthma, right? So my friend John needs to use an inhaler every day since he has a chronic asthma, right? So it's chronic asthma, which means from like for a long time he has been asthmatic patient, right? So he is totally depending on inhaler. ओके तो जब आपको बेसिकली कोई ऐसी डिजीज जो आपके काफी टाइम से चलती आ रही है, ठीक है, वो भी रेकरिंग है, ठीक है, तो उसको हम क्रॉनिक क्रॉनिक डिजीज कहते हैं. ओके, right, I hope this one's clear. Now let's move on to next. Okay, number 4, impediment. 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 इम्पेडिमेंट बेसिकली होता है लाइक जब हम बात करते कई बार क्या होता है कि हम रिपीट करना शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है, चीजों को। तो उसको कहते हैं वो भी मैं आगे वर्ड करूंगा, उसको कहते हैं बेसिकली स्टटर, ठीक है, STUTTER, स्टारर, राइट। सो इम्पेडिमेंट एक ऐसा बेसिकली होता है कि इसको हम डिजीज नहीं, इसको हम डिसऑर्डर कहते हैं, जिससे स्टैमर लाइक समटाइम्स कई बंदे बोलते बोलते दोबारा से उसको रिपीट कर देते हैं, ठीक है, कुछ वर्ड्स को। सो दैट्स व्हाट वी कॉल इम्पेडिमेंट। A physical defect, right? So impediment, a physical defect that hinders, रुकावट लाती है, hinders का मतलब रुकावट लाती है, that hinders normal or easy speech, right? So impediment, a physical defect that hinders normal or easy speech. So let's make an example. After the accident, Rahul developed, right? उसमें आई वो चीज, right? So Rahul developed an impediment. So what impediment? ठीक है, now physical defect that hinders normal or easy speech. तो हुआ क्या, like what happened, right? So after the accident, Rahul developed an impediment. He stutters. Okay. ही स्टार्टर्स आपको ये कहता हूँ, इसका मतलब होता है बेसिकली जब आप रुक कर, ठीक है, करके बहुत ज्यादा, ठीक है ना, हेजिटेशन फिलर्स नहीं, ठीक है, जब आप अटकते हो, स्टैमर करते हो, ठीक है। सो इम्पेडिमेंट। अब स्टार्टर्स का एक देखते हैं, ठीक है, ही स्टार्टर्स। सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज दिस। लेट्स मेक इट नंबर 5 आल्सो। To talk with a continued accidental, right? So when you talk with a continued accidental, जब हम इसमें बात करते हैं कि बोलते बोलते, ठीक है, वर्ड्स को रिपीट करते हैं with a continued accidental repetition of words, ठीक है। तो जब हम बोलते हैं, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल हम कहते हैं आई हैव गॉन टू शिमला एंड इट वाज वेरी ब्यूटीफुल, सो समथिंग लाइक दिस, ठीक है, वो कभी हकलाना, उसको कभी स्टैमर कहते हैं, ठीक है। सो दैट इज नोन एज स्टटर, ठीक है, ही स्टटर्स व्हेन ही स्पीक्स अ लॉट, ठीक है। Sometimes based on nervousness also, people they tend to stutter a lot. Okay. Right. I hope these ones are clear. So impediment, a physical defect which hinders your normal or easy speech. People becoming stutter because of that. Now next is rehab. What is a rehab? Rehab is those kind of facility, where people are encouraged to leave their addictiveness. So whatever they are addicted to, like drinks, like when people are too much addicted to alcohol, or they're addicted to smoking, or they're even addicted to drugs and all, right? So rehab, these are those facilities, they help them, right, in order to leave those kind of bad habits and become a good citizen, right? Rehab. Now, this is also a good word you can use in the writing task as well. It's a course of treatment. It's a course of treatment for drug or alcohol or any other, like bad habits that you have. So, for example, After talking to a doctor, Kumar decided, right? So after talking to a doctor about his, obsessed, like after talking to a doctor about how much Kumar is addictive to his alcohol and smoking, too much of dependency on these things. So Kumar, let's talk about Kumar. He decided for a rehab, right? Kumar decided to go for a rehab. Right. These are the rehabilitation centers, as you might have heard a couple of times. Right. So this is a very good word in running tasks. Also, you can use. Okay. Like when and if any topic comes related to crime, right? Or so you're required to give a suggestion. You can use some rehab centers or to be opened, right, by the government in order to give a second chance to the denizens. Okay. Right. So a course of treatment, right? A course of treatment for drug, alcohol, smoking, or anything, right? Okay. So the next is now to diagnose. To diagnose means to find out. Like when obviously doctors they diagnose patients. What do? They find out the root cause of the problem that is, giving them that kind of trouble they came with. Right. So that diagnose, obviously, the doctor is doing the machines, doctors are using, they are doing the medical test reports, right? So you're diagnosing basically, right? Two, so let's say to recognize illness, right? The root cause of the illness, diagnose. Let's say, for example, luckily, Jim and Carrie got diagnosed early by their doctor. I'm glad they were put on medication on time. They are healthy now, right? So, luckily, Jim and Carrie got diagnosed early by their doctor. I'm glad they were put on medication on time. They're healthy now, right? This is just a phrasal verb. I'm using put on. Right? I have made a video on phrasal verbs. You can view that as well. How effectively we can use these phrasal verbs in our speaking, especially speaking, okay, conversation, right? They act as vocabulary, okay? So luckily, Jim and Carrie got diagnosed early by the doctor. I'm glad they were put on medication on time. They are healthy now, right? So these are few words that you can use in health. Now let's do some idioms that I can think of regarding health. Now first is down in the dumps. Down in the dumps. Down in the dumps means to feel sad. Right? Now, when you get sick, you don't feel sad, right? So what do you feel? You feel down in the dumps, right? So, for example, you can say, I felt down in the dumps when I heard that Paul couldn't make it to his exams due to high fever. Right? I felt down in the dumps when I heard that Paul couldn't make it to his exams due to high fever. Couldn't make it to the exams. Now, this is another phrasal verb I have used. Couldn't make it. Make it means to reach and to take the exam. Right? So never say give the exam. Okay, it's always take the exam because you're not the one who's actually designing the exam, right? You're the one who's taking the exam, right? People oftenly do say that like yesterday I gave my exam. No, you didn't give your exam. You took your exam. You sit for exam, right? You in general I say that you sit for exam. You take your exam. You don't give your exam. Okay. So I fell down in the dumps when I heard that Paul couldn't make it to his exams due to high fever. Okay, fine. I hope this one's clear. Number one, so to feel sad. Whenever something happens, you feel sad. Whenever in life you need to say that, I felt really sad, like sadly this thing happened. So, oh my God, I fell down in the dumps. Like you see, this happening, right? I'm really feeling, right? I'm really feeling down in the dumps. I am down in the dumps. So which means sad. For this, you can also use the word gloomy, like we did the other day, gloomy also, okay, to express sadness as well as feel blue, right? I really felt blue in past tense, right? I really feel blue in general, you're saying present, right? So these are those expressions and idioms. Second, down the dumps, then alive and kicking. Alive and kicking, when this idiom we use obviously when you're healthy, okay, you're energetic. So when do you use alive and kicking? When you are basically non-healthy, you're unhealthy, and then you take medication or you do exercise or something like that and you become then healthy. Now you were sick, you took rest, and now you are healthy, so which means you're alive and kicking. Okay, so at first you were sick and then you got happy. Why you were happy? Because you got healthy again. So how were you feeling? Alive and kicking. Now let's make a sentence regarding this. Alive and kicking. Now you can talk about your own sickness, right? Energetic, let's say. My grandmother is 90, right? My grandmother is 90, and believe me, she is still alive and kicking. She's still alive and kicking, right? So my grandmother is 90, and believe me, she is still alive and kicking. So which means she's still healthy, she's still energetic, right? Alive and kicking. Don't think like she does, some kind of ninja stuff, right? So my grandmother is 90, and believe me, she's still alive and kicking, right? Now, based on your sickness, you can say, 2 days ago, because of this weather change, I was down in the dumps because I got sick. I had high fever. But today, I'm really relaxed. I'm really feeling better. And, I am alive and kicking. Okay, you can use that way too. Now, next, number third. To break a habit. To break a habit. To stop doing something you were doing always. So to break a habit, as you can just then, the basically idiom is telling you to break a habit. You were having a habit of something and you will keep doing it continuously before. Now it's time to break it. So we can simply, as you can understand, also talking about, the one addictiveness with it, addicted. You were quite addicted to like smoking. You were quite addicted to doing drugs, right? You're quite addicted to drinking alcohol, right? So you broke a habit. I finally was able to, I finally was able to break a habit of drinking. So, for example, let's make a sentence. I used to drink a lot, and believe me, thanks to thanks to my doctor, I must say I was able to. I was okay. So break my habit of it. Right. I used to drink a lot, and believe me, thanks to my doctor, I must say, I was able to break my habit of it. Right. So break a habit of your drinking, or you can, like it's not about health only. You can speak about anything. For example, let's say I used to procrastinate a lot. Right. Thanks to my job, that made me break my habit. Okay, so that made me break my habit. So procrastinate means delay. I used to delay a lot. I was quite lazy, right? But thanks to my job, obviously you become organized. You have a set time to go to work and perform your duties. That's where we can use to break a habit. Okay, then number 4, to black out. टू ब्लैकआउट इसका मतलब होता है जब हम अनकॉन्शियस हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, आंखों के आगे अंधेरा छा जाना, राइट? सो यू जस्ट fall down on the ground, right? You don't know what's going on. Okay, so whenever like you feel like it, there comes a time when you feel so weak. Okay, you fall down unconsciously, right? So you're laying down unconsciously, so that means blackout. Okay, to lose consciousness. So you're losing. Okay. um, to lose consciousness. Now, how we can make an example? Let me tell you a funny story, or not story, because I'm just not gonna write entire story. Let me tell you a funny thing. Prior to my CBSC final board examination, I blacked out due to taking immense stress. Right. Let me tell you a funny thing. Prior to my CBSE final board examination, I blacked out due to taking immense stress. Right? Immense stress, immense pressure. Okay, clear? So I lost consciousness, right? I fell on the floor. Okay. You can also say that, yesterday I blacked out because I didn't take anything to eat, right? So this is how you can use this idiom. To black out means lose consciousness, right? Okay, let's do next. This is number 4. Number 5. To be under the weather. To be under the weather means when you're not feeling good. So which means you are sick. Okay. Now, how we can make an example? Let's understand. To be under the weather means to be sick. ठीक है. To be under the weather इसका मतलब ये नहीं हो कि हम weather के अंदर हैं. ठीक है. इसका मतलब हो गया हम sick हैं. ठीक है. So, like for example, people ask you, and you're not feeling okay. You have a runny nose and all the stuff, right? So people ask you, "Hey, how's it going?" Nothing much. I'm feeling under the weather. Why? What happened? Nothing. Just high fever. Okay. So to be under the weather, not feeling good. Right? Example. Now let's use two idioms together with it. Although I was under the weather last week and couldn't perform my duties at work, right? Thanks to my doctor's prescription of medicines that I am alive and kicking now. Right? So although I was under the weather last week and couldn't perform my duties at work, thanks to my doctor's prescription. So thanks to my doctor's prescription of medicines that I'm alive and kicking now. Okay. So this is how you can use this idiom. To be under the weather, you were sick. Okay. We generally feel under the weather whenever it rains, cats and dogs. Right? If in case you decide to get drenched. Okay. Drenched means soaked with liquid. Right? I hope this one's clear. To be under the weather. Now let's move on to number 6. To phone or call in sick. To phone or call in sick is obviously used only when either you're a student, right? You're informing your institute, or you're a workaholic, or you're just an employee. You're calling at work in sick, which means take a holiday. Take a sick leave, right? So, for example, let's make I had to phone in sick yesterday since I caught flu. Right? I had to phone in sick yesterday since I caught a flu. Right? I had to phone in sick yesterday. मुझे कल जॉब पर फोन करके बोलना पड़ा कि छुट्टी चाहिए, सिक लीव चाहिए. क्यों? क्योंकि मुझे फ्लू हो गया था. Right? So I had to phone in sick yesterday since I caught a flu. Now you can use, call also. I had to call in sick yesterday. Now you're talking to one of your employees, one of your friends, hey, are you coming to the institute today? No, I'm not. Why? I'm feeling under the weather. Oh, did you call in sick? No, I haven't. I'm about to. Okay. I haven't. I am about to, which means I'm about to do it. Okay. Right. I hope this one's clear. To call in sick, to take a sick leave. Oh, I'm not feeling well today. I think I should rather, call in sick. Right. Then next, I know what number we are on. Sick as a dog. Sick as a dog, right? You can also say to be at death's door. To be at death's door. Sick as a dog. When you are extremely sick, okay, that's where we use sick as a dog. When you're extremely sick, right? So let's say um, Raj can't come to work for 3-4 days. He called in sick, right? He called in sick. He is sick as a dog since he ate food from street vendors yesterday. Right. Siraj can't come to work for 2, 3, 4 days. He called in sick. He's sick as a dog since he ate food from street vendors yesterday. Right. So when you basically eat food from outside, like street haulers, the radio पर आपको मिलता है, ठीक है, वो थोड़ा सा generally काफी looking, like where you are eating condition ठीक नहीं होती, कुछ होती, तो you get a like upset stomach, right? You get sick, you get food poisoning and all, right? So when you get really sick, right? So here we made an example, like Raj can't come to work for 3-4 days. He called in sick, right? He called in sick. So I'm just trying to use a couple of more, which we have covered. He called in sick. He's sick as a dog since why? Why he's sick as a dog? Because he ate food from street vendors yesterday. Okay. He's sick as a dog since he caught a flu. You can also say that. Okay. Sick as a dog. I hope this one's clear. Now let's do one more. White as a sheet. White as a sheet. This idiom we use when a person is very pale. Normally what happens, when someone gets too sick, पीलिया हो जाता है, ठीक है उसको, he gets pale, so he start to becomes whitish, right? So to express that kind of emotion, right, you can say, oh my god, what happened, you look like, like you're just white as a sheet, right? So which means you're telling him that you need red blood cells. Okay, so let's make an example here. Oh gosh, John looks sick, right? Oh gosh, John looks sick. He's like white as a sheet, right? He's like white as a sheet. Okay. Oh gosh, John looks sick. He's like white as a sheep. Right? So you're not basically making fun of him. Okay. These idioms, why we only use them to express our emotion. Right. So they are always being used in a way to express your emotion, right? Oh, I'm under the weather. You can't just say that yesterday I was under the weather and it was a very sad incident for me. No, you're not expressing that you're sad. So this is what I try to do with my students, how to express your emotions. It's not like necessary you have to use idiomatic phrases all the time, but the way they need to be used, that's what matters the most. Okay, so that is how my English speaking practice, sessions they go, where me and a couple of our other tutors whom I have, we encourage people, we show them the way some kind of words, some kind of phrases that need to be used, right? We do video sessions with them, right, in order to show them exactly, how they are looking when they are speaking something, because when they see their own recordings, right, so they get to know that where they are lacking. So when you improve on that thing, right, you obviously you gain your confidence, and with that confidence you'll be able to communicate with anyone quite fluently. Okay. All right. So this was about the idioms, and that's the end of the session of today only. And I tried to cover whatever I could think about health, right? Vocabulary, and whatever I come to know about the other stuff like travel and tourism, your food, entertainment. I will be making videos regarding that too. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.